Okay, so that was the weird solo section in Duke's Travels. So right now you're hearing 2600. Oops. Now if I play it legato right now, you'll hear, so I have to do, right? So you also don't hear portamento. I have the portamento off, but set to a decent level. And I have the first two oscillators, sawtooth wave, and I have the upper voice routed to the keyboard of the first oscillator. I also have a foot switch plugged into the back jack of the portamento control. So what that allows me to do for this solo is hold the pedal down. I can play staccato. I can play legato and hold quarter notes in the left hand, eighth notes in the right hand, contrary and parallel motion. And it does not deal with upper and lower note priority. I'll do that without the pedal down. Kind of similar to what you saw happen on my Odyssey in the previous video. So I'll do the whole solo with the pedal down. Legato. Legato single voice. Whoops. Legato. Legato. Whoops. I actually have in my score staccato and legato markings. I'm that much of a classical music nerd. And then you can hear the portamento zigging and zagging, which is cool, which is on the live recording. Now I need this to be legato, because you've got these 16th note triplets. Then, when it gets to the, you can hear this sound, barely has any release, no attack, a little release. 2, 3, 4, and I turn my arpeggiator on, and I take my foot off of the portamento pedal. So that is the Behringer 2600. With a MIDI plug-in in main stage doing that arpeggiator. Off, on. You play the full chord, it sweeps through the notes. Don't have it on, and that happens. Now, what if I hold the portamento pedal down while that goes on? That's kind of weird, right? You don't want that. So the other option would be to just turn the portamento on and leave it in mono mode, maybe? Doesn't work. Portamento switch on, foot switch off, duo mode. Oh, sorry, the arpeggiator's on. Let me do that experiment again. Mono mode, portamento on the unit, not on the foot switch. Ooh, I get duophonic. Still behaves like some of the other issues I was running into earlier. So, not only does using the portamento foot switch help me in that transition where I have to turn the arpeggiator on, but it behaves like the Quadra did. To my ears, that's what's going on. I said in another video, just because the Quadra had presets doesn't mean that Tony Banks wasn't hustling the entire time. If you shell out whatever 5 figures a Quadra is going for these days, be prepared. You have to do a lot of work to make it sound like the unit. So that's what I'm doing. I'm doing a lot of work when I play this. Now, just to let you know, the final layer, I'll bring the 2600 down. Here is my This is the behind the line sound, right? Oh, I even have the filter sweep that I have to do behind the line. Put the, right now, this is just the straight Native Instruments Contact plug-in in main stage, playing the polysynth section from Synth Magic's Quadra plugin. The chorus you hear over the phone speakers is the my vintage MXR stereo chorus running in stereo. You want the Duchess in the cage sound. Make sure you've got a volume pedal, expression pedal that can do the volume. And make sure you have a phase shifter in between. Most likely the MXR Phase 100 if you have that in a plug-in version. So here is, right, there it is. There's that layer. Now here it is with the lead section of the Quadra. Right, if I just do the... So I think that's some of the magic of these sounds like Abacab and the Duke's Travels solo, which are the only two I can think of that did this technique. The polysynth section layered with the lead section. So you play chords, and you get overlapping there. You get that going on, but then you have the note canceling monophonic with a portamento. It's really cool. Very mysterious sound. Right here's, I don't have any distortion on it for this. I don't think he added the MXR distortion pedal until Abacab. And from my memory, the Abacab album version is just the polysynth section with MXR distortion with MXR chorus. And then the live version here on Three Sides Live adds this duophonic. Right, I can hear that. And then when I listen to the Mama tour, I think, you know, the Quadra had multiple outputs, so the, I think maybe whatever in his routing, he just decided to use the MXR distortion on the full signal. You know, things change tour to tour with rigs, right? So that is how I do it on this. I mean, I could give you a close-up of my keyboard control section. You may not even see what I'm pointing to, but right now the portamento is off. It is under, the slider is on the portamento like about 20%. Voice mode is mono. Maybe I'm working too hard. You know what? This entire time I've been doing the Duke tour, I've had to switch it from mono to duo, and I'm doing all this extra work when I'm doing the Duke's Travel solo. I think it works in mono. Guys, for my gig this week, the final of the Duke tour, I'm going to leave it on mono. I have to change my notes in my iPad. So there we go. It's always evolving with this synthesizer. It is magnificent. And then when I go back to the solo of that comes after the guide vocal reprise, I turn off the Quadra, and then in my mixer I go boom. Now I have that dual portamento setting with the lag processor I've talked about. So portamento on oscillator 2 is off. Oscillator 3 has that lag processor. And if I put the portamento on, you get that smeary sound. I like it with one off, one on. I think it sounds like it. I also have the LFO blinking at about 25%, a little bit of delay, maybe at 40%, and the depth is barely above. Listen to this depth. I go way too, it's kind of unusable. Just to give it a little warble. And then it's still, I switch it to mono. So I have this, whoops, what key are we in? Louder in the mixer. Sorry about my phone audio. Wrong keyboard. So, again, if you're doing this kind of thing, the Duke's Travels is the hardest thing I've had to play with this band. It's physically hard. The leads are very difficult, and all the sound switching is insane. So I have to get from that lead to the solo thing very quickly while I'm playing other things. And then there's all the solos on the Prophet. And then I have to break my arms to reach the vocoder for that kind of bagpipe sound. So it's really complex. I have a ridiculous amount of gear to pull it off, but when I hear it back, it sounds amazing. If you've made it to the end of this video, I am currently working on a project. I'm getting my master's degree in music technology, and the long-term project for my like a master's thesis capstone project is mixing the Genesis show, the entire Duke suite, with multi-camera video. So it will be up on YouTube at some point during the fall. That's the timing of my classes. So I'm listening to back to the tracks. I'm like, oh man, that sounds exactly like the Lyceum video. So it's worth all of this, but it's not going to be worth it to you if you're just playing this for fun. So good luck getting that Quadra plugin from Cherry Audio to work. I don't use it at all. I wish I could. I would love to do that. Just tap my foot and changes to a main stage to the next sound. But it doesn't really work out for me. So if you manage to get this to work, or there's more about the Quadra that you have picked up, either owning one or you have a friend that has one, or you used to own one, I would really appreciate your feedback. Let me know how much what I'm doing with the 2600 jives with that, and maybe the plugin is correct after all. So very interested.